What's up, dudes and dudettes? Welcome to Everybody Podcast. This is a little segment we like to call Everybody's TUF, where we take a look at UFC's The Ultimate Fighter, UFC's take on a reality TV show. We're looking at the newest, dubbed The Return of the Ultimate Fighter, Season 29. We're looking at Episode 7. I know last week I fucked up and said Episode 5, but we're getting back on track here. We're looking at Episode 7. This episode, we get Brady Hiestand against Josh Reddinghouse. A bantamweight fight, am I correct?
Yep, they had two bantamweight fights in a row. I actually didn't realize, or I guess I just kind of didn't notice that there's only one more fight left before the semifinals.
Yeah, that's great. It's gone by so goddamn quick.
Yeah.
Because they haven't really done much besides... Well, since
they're
having
fought.
having a fight every episode, it's kind of gonna go fast. But this one was a good back and forth as well. We got 3 rounds out of this one too.
Yeah, and that third round was that was so close. I didn't know if Brady was gonna win.
Yeah, dude, right?
Which we should say. Did you say Brady Hiestand won the fight?
Yeah,
over Josh Rittenhouse.
Yep, he won the fight. Gives Volkanovski another win on his team. It was a good back and forth. It was a big grappling match. A very big grappling match. We had grappling in all 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm. But Rittenhouse, he landed some like nasty uppercuts in the second round.
Yeah, dude.
Like he landed like 3 or 4 real solid uppercuts in the second round.
You can tell these guys definitely have something to prove because the way they're able to absorb shots like this, and they're just all ready to go, man.
Yeah, and he Rittenhouse had that he had a nasty Nate Diaz cut open up above his eye after the headbutt.
Yep.
Oh, that shit, guy. That's probably the bloodiest fight they've had all season, right?
Yeah.
There hasn't really been a whole lot of blood, a whole lot of open wounds in this season.
And these guys, the thing about these guys is they were friends, they were training partners and shit, and they were going into this fight like, we know what's going to happen. We know we got to do this, but we're still going to love each other afterwards.
And it's also the oldest guy in the house against the youngest guy in the house.
Yeah. Yeah. He was, Reddinghouse was 31 or something.
I think he said 31. And was it Brady? I think he said he was 26.
Yeah, that's starting at 31 in MMA is kind of a...
And his record was like 16-5, wasn't it?
Yeah, 16-5, and the other guy, Hiestand was 5-1, I think he said.
Yeah, so even their experience is there's a huge gap in their experience too, not just their age.
Yeah, so I mean, technically, Reddinghouse didn't get a late start in MMA because if his record is 16-5, he's obviously been fighting for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
Just starting in the UFC at 31, kind of a late start.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you've seen quite a few fighters who've started late in their career, I guess you could say.
Well, yeah, like Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah,
he's almost 40.
Yeah,
before he finally got his the belt, and I mean he hasn't been in the UFC for 10 years.
Yeah,
he's probably only been in the UFC. I actually don't know when his first fight was, but if I had to guess, it was probably only 5 or 6 years ago in the UFC.
Yeah, who was his first fight? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't remember. I can't even remember when he first fought, period. I couldn't even tell you when it was.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I could be wrong. Maybe he has been in the UFC just kind of floating around for 10 years, but I don't think he has. I think he's only been in for 5 or 6 years. So he was technically, if you consider who holds the belt most of the time, what their age is, it's usually around 32 to 35.
Yeah.
That's probably the average. So theoretically, he probably didn't get into the UFC until he was already at that prime.
Yeah, right.
Technically. I mean, obviously, he's gone on to become the champion at, 39 years old, isn't he?
Yeah.
So obviously he's in his prime now, but the overall prime of what a fighter usually is, he was pretty late,
Mm-hmm.
So that's why even somebody like Josh Rittenhouse, if he'd have won, it's still he has the chance of becoming a champion.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe not now. Now that he lost that fight. But I think you could have made a solid argument for him being the winner of the third round. Was it a split?
I mean, yeah, it was.
It was a split decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could have. I feel like you could have made a solid argument for him winning either the second round or the third round.
Yeah, I knew right away that it was going to go into a third round.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
honestly, I can tell when they start the fight because they start the fight with only with a half hour left in the show in the episode.
Yeah, right.
So oh, it's going to be a 3-rounder. This one.
I never thought about that. I just know every time that the official says, "Don't take off your gloves." Every time he says that, I know it's going to go in the third round.
Yeah, for sure.
They say it might go into a third round, but shit, we know. I mean, being fans and whatnot, we can tell a good fight when we see it, and if it's going to go that extra distance.
But yeah, I mean, who won the first round? Didn't Josh win the first round?
I would have gave it to Josh.
Josh won the first round. See, I feel like the second round, they totally could have given him the second round too. I mean, if it was up to me, I would have said Brady won, but I could see the argument for Josh winning the second round and taking both of the.
I mean, I could see
rounds.
an argument for Brady winning the first round as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a really close fight.
Yeah, it's hard to call, and I really love sportsmanship, man. Being friends, going in there and fighting, and then having mad respect for each other. I feel bad for Josh Reddinghouse for losing the fight because he just thought, they all want it so bad.
Yeah.
Him being 31 and whatnot and then losing.
But he almost seemed like to accept that it's not going to be his career anymore, which is kind of sad. It doesn't. After seeing him lose, even before the fight, he's kind of seemed like to have that attitude of like, this could be, if I lose this fight, it's it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go back to being an accountant.
Yeah,
that's gonna be my career.
And he has that. And he said how long? He said he's been doing that for a while too. The accountant thing.
Mm-hmm. Probably. So, probably since he was a kid. I mean,
obviously he hated the fact that he lost, but. At least he has something to fall back on.
Yeah, for sure.
Like money-wise.
That's what how I felt about Ryder Newman, too. Like, he had something. He has his own business.
Yeah, the cleaning service.
Which I think part of that comfort might end up being a problem, Like, he had something to go back to, so he didn't have as much desperation in his fight as Trayshawn Gore did, who was like, this is all I got. Like, if I lose this, I lose everything, so I'm not going to lose this.
Yeah. Yep. And at the end of the episode, Volkanovski was he gave Ortega a fist bump, showing some respect, and then he was talking about, he mentioned, like, I'm keeping the belt warm, like, it's staying with me.
I can't wait for their fight.
Yeah, dude, they announced the card last night. I seen...
Did they? I was by the end of the fucking card last night, I can't even remember the Makhachev fight. I know that he won.
I was falling asleep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was barely keeping my eyes open. I know I remember seeing the submission, and I know it was the fourth round, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that much. But as far as the actual fight, I couldn't tell you what happened in the fight. For all I know, Moises was winning that entire fight. Like,
you know what?
I have no idea.
I was at the beginning of that fight. I was just like, oh, dude, Moises might take this whole fight, man. But
that dude's got some solid kicks.
Yeah, dude, fuck. But Makhachev, obviously, he's just too strong. He's too good.
He's a brute, man.
Yes, he's a super brute.
He's a real fucking gorilla.
So, what would you rate this episode?
I guess 4. It was a good fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna give
nothing else happened though. That was it. It was a really great fight and a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, really great fight, whole lot of nothing. I'm going to give it a 4 as well.
I feel like this whole season, I think I might have said this before, but this whole season could have just been the Contender Series. This could have just been 2 episodes of the Contender Series.
Yeah, speaking of the Contender Series, it's returning in August. I think last night they said August 31st.
I missed that too. Huh.
Yep, it's returning August 31st. We're going to get to see some more Contender Series fights.
I love the Contender Series.
Yeah,
there's always
awesome.
Bangers on the Contender Series, man. It's always people who are ready to fucking fight their way into the UFC.
Yeah, so they can get that contract that night.
Mm-hmm. And that's what the Ultimate Fighter fights are too. They've all been really great fights. There hasn't been a bad fight on the entire season, but the rest of it just sucks.
Yeah, and sometimes even some of those guys from TUF. Some of those guys even get a contract to the UFC, even if they didn't win. We've seen it.
A lot of them do.
Yeah, we've seen it plenty of times. So, I mean, even if these guys lose, they shouldn't be down on themselves because it could be a possibility that, hey, maybe you will get signed. Put on a good performance, show Dana White something.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. But, yeah, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. And that was episode 7, season 29 of TUF. We'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.